conversations for change, because the world is ready. Hello. I thought I would call this episode Our Organic Future, because it has occurred to me that on many levels, that is what we are stepping into. It is an organic future. As our greater selves become more and more present in our experience, and as we step into our own inner knowing and connection to the life force and love that actually power this universe, we step into our organic future. In the same way, as I look out into the world of how we grow our food and our plants and how we interact with our planet, we also step into our organic future as we more and more move toward that which sustains life, that which upholds what matters most, which of course is the health and well-being and thriving of all life. It almost seems remarkable that we have strayed so far from that place, and yet in each moment, as we live through the experiences of this life in the ways that reconnect us to that life-giving, life-affirming, and life-supporting way of being, which sustains us all from within, it's not difficult to find our way back. I think it feels difficult when we look out into the larger world and we see the things that don't make sense to us and that maybe even frighten us or anger us or frustrate us in the way that the world operates, in the way that the larger systems that are supposedly designed for the well-being of all of us deliver us food that's inedible and in many cases poisonous, medicine that is unreachable, and in many cases harmful to our bodies. All of these systems seem to come together in a way in our minds, I think, when we look out into the world to make us feel as if there is no direction to go. But I think that in itself is part of the process we are in. Because what I've come to understand as I move through this process myself is that our direction and our focus are not needed in the outer world. It does not serve us to look at those things which cause us grief and pain and suffering and fear when the answers that we seek are within us. And so we are being guided more and more directly to turn inward, to turn to those people close to us, to turn to those people we care the most about, and to pay attention to how we interact and how we support and sustain each other. And it seems almost as if that's an impossible ask in the world the way it is today. And yet, in each small step that we take, the energy and the joy and the love that reach up to hold us are so powerful and so palpable that we can feel it. I've been watching my gardens this year and all the places where they've brought me gifts I had not expected, and all of the ways that life has moved forward around me and brought me closer to the place where I step out in the morning and follow the intuition that guides me, rather than feeling the old feelings of being driven to make sure to get everything done, to provide what's needed. Instead, there's this place of understanding when I stop long enough to listen, that everything will be done, that everything can be done in its own time, in its own way, and that each thing that comes up in front of me is giving me a lesson, showing me something new to understand and to learn and to appreciate and to incorporate into the way that I behave in my interactions with the world around me. Sometimes it's a little thing, like taking the time to stop and walk a different way around the garden so that I observe something or see something that I hadn't noticed before. Or because I find something when I do that that is asking for my attention, that takes no time at all for me to do, but is simply waiting and in the perfect moment of my doing it. And so when I arrive and there it is, it's easy and it's easeful and it's rewarding, not just for me, but for the garden itself. It solves a problem that I didn't know was there, whether it's some plant about to burst forth with seed that I really don't want all over that part of the garden, or it's some new seedling emerging, asking for attention, so that I make sure it makes it through this first early stage of its emergence when it's so tender. And the more I pay attention, the more of these kinds of experiences I have, and the less driven I am, and the more at peace I am, and the more in the moment of interacting with the life around me joyfully I am. And I believe that that is the organic future that is calling us. It is not simply that we are letting go of the toxic lifestyle of big pharma, big chemical, big ag, all of these synthetically driven productive systems, all of these synthetically driven systems of production which do not lead to health and vitality, but rather lead to unhealth, lack of vitality, and profits in somebody's pockets that serve no one, certainly not the greater good. And as we let go of these things, it is not about us looking at them and wondering how or trying to figure that out. It is about us stepping into ourselves, stepping off the hamster wheel of drivenness that forces us forward to constantly try to produce something more that we think is lacking or needed in order for us to get to what we are choosing in our future. Sometimes it's a simplification that's being asked for. Sometimes It's the letting go of the idea that there's anything to do at all other than take a moment to be where you are and feel what you feel. For me, that keeps coming up as I walk through the gardens and see the beauty and the joy and the life around me expressing itself in ways that I had not anticipated. It also comes up as I look into the space of love that has been created here. It takes me back to the reading of the Ringing Cedar series. It takes me back to the understanding of the relationship between all living things that says, I see you, I appreciate you, I love you. And it opens the doorway for us to allow back into our lives the happiness quotient, the actual making important of how we feel in the moment. And before we can do that, we have to actually stop long enough to pay attention to know what we feel. As we step into this larger world of the inner moving outward, and we step into the space that allows us to seek the happiness that matters to us and to seek happiness for those around us who we care about, we also bring back in the power and the importance of the human beings who are present here. And as we make that the more important thing in our life, in our interactions, in the way we operate, in the way we operate in the world, this new organic field of our being naturally ripples out into all of the things we do. Because in that space, what we want is to be uplifting. And we cannot, in our heart of hearts, be uplifting when we know the things we do are not uplifting. And so naturally, they fall away more and more. And as more and more of us step into this space, where what matters to us is how we be in the world, is how we hold the world and each other in love, then naturally the systems around us join us in that upliftment. It's really a beautiful thing to behold as we step into it more and more, because it keeps showing us in each moment where our focus is, what our feelings are, and where we are headed. And in the moments when the things of our past, the emotions, the struggles, the challenges, rise up and ask to be released, we may move through difficulty. We may feel things that are uncomfortable. But when we remember that they are simply moving through and remember to release them, we find them falling away more and more quickly. And the new creations are calling us so loudly and so persistently and so beautifully that we find them irresistible. We step into our open hearts as we step out into the early morning light. We feel the nature around us, and we choose to engage in that level of joy. And as we do that, the joy around us expands, and we become all the things we have longed to see in the world. So yes, I do see our organic future, and I am not at all concerned about all of the ways that we may or may not get there in the next moment or even the moment after that, because I am certain that it is calling us and that we are answering the call. I can feel it, and it feels so good, and I am so grateful